Good day to all of your esteemed panelists and moderator. I am Matthew Buñag of 11 Physics, here to present you my proposal manuscript. But before that, I would like for us to take a moment and look at our walls. Are there maybe deformities or cracks, mayhaps? Hopefully there aren't, but our home unfortunately has quite a bit of cracks due to sustained earthquakes, and recently we had our share of experiences with a series of quakes in Camarines Sur about a month ago. Resuming to our topic, the title of the manuscript is Pilinatial as the binder to increase concrete integrity. Introduction. Infrastructural disasters are very recognized in the field of engineering. There has not been a breakthrough that could possibly make an indestructible material or a self-healing structure. The commercial grade materials that we have are either strengthened by another material like concrete steel in order to decrease mechanical failure. Materials that do not break may not be a eureka moment that mankind has yet to reach, but history suggested that humans have always made materials that were stronger than the last. For example, in the Bronze Age, iron was replaced with steel and copper was replaced with bronze. Those and whatnot. Concrete houses are now more mainstream than wooden homes. However, there are still factors such as natural disasters, earthquakes, tsunamis, that are beyond the integrity of current standards of infrastructures. There are existing solutions to this, such as the Trans-America Pyramid in California, which is a pyramid extruded skyscraper. It works by having most of its mass down at the base so that it doesn't topple over when it quakes, because the state of California is very active in earthquakes. That said, there are still an estimated 8 building collapse disasters annually worldwide. There might be more, there might be less. The total amount of rubble from those incidents can amount anywhere from 300 to 600 tons. These are just from structural failures. There are maybe more, such as bridge collapses, even urban homes, sinkholes. All of these harm not only human lives, but also the economy. Again, there might not be a readily available unbreakable material, but one that is stronger that could possibly increase durability and cut down costs is yet to be found. As that is the background of our study. The situation is that infrastructures that are more aged, like I said, there might be cracks, although these cracks may not be that worrisome for the moment. Casualties globally due to the infrastructure collapses. There might not be that many, like maybe less than 1,000, but it's still less than 1,000 more than what should be happening. The problem is, while skyscrapers are engineered to last long, small buildings are not as tough. And like I said, geometric structures that counteract natural forces may be an existing solution, just like the Transamerica building of California. There are also dampers, such as there are also dampers in skyscrapers, and they put huge balls of steel or a huge ball of steel in the top of the building so that it also doesn't topple over. Now, we would not develop something that would revolutionize engineering, but at least an incremental step above to what we currently have, to develop concrete to have more integrity while being cost effective. Our specific objective, that is to synthesize a material using a local product, is an enhancer that can potentially be a substitute to commercial grade concrete, and then test that integrity and calculate the maximum amount of load per unit area and show that the use of pilinatial ash as an enhancer can be more cost effective than other commercial binders such as lime. More on that later. Now here we have a statement of the problem, the hypothesis. This is shown in the proposal manuscript. Does the use of the pilinatial ash increase mechanical strength of normal industrial concrete? And our null hypothesis is that there is no significant increase in mechanical strength of normal industrial concrete. Our alternative is that there is a significant increase in mechanical strength of normal industrial concrete. Number 2 is, does the experimental binder have a higher compressive strength than normal industrial grade concrete? And are null hypotheses. The important side is that it does not yield a higher compressive strength than normal concrete, thus changing the proportion of experimental binder to concrete affect the durability. Increasing the amount of experimental binder will not affect the durability, is what we're trying to prove here. Does the experimental binder concrete's integrity decrease over time? We are also trying to find out if it will not decrease after n amount of days. And essentially that would happen by testing in different intervals. Moving on to why the study is significant, it is to discover if peel nut shell ash are independent variable. We conceive a material that is stronger than the average processed concrete. It would be beneficial, especially here because peely is endemic in Bicol and is mainly grown here. Hypothetically, if the binder proved to increase mechanical strength by a large margin, the demand for peel nut shells would rise. There is a possibility that peel trees would be formed and therefore increased in population. They only need material from the tree shells, which is a very tough material. You might have seen somewhere in street vendors that sell accessories made out of peely, or you might see somewhere that is laid across this basking in the sun, peely nuts. Basically, the shells are thrown. It's such a waste that if it's possible, the shells will be rendered useful. If it's possible to render the shells useful and then our disposal. Now let's move on to the review of related literature. First and foremost, I'd like to differentiate cement and concrete. Now, cement is simply an adhesive that hardens to be a robust binding material in construction. It's basically the thing that binds. It is the material that binds other materials together, and concrete is what's used in building, such as paved roads and houses, in a way that it is cement as well, but there are added aggregates. Now, what are aggregates? Aggregates can be anything from sand, gravel, or pebbles, things such as that. Basically, that is the source of the strength of material, and it is cement that binds them together. More on that later. The research problem is the structural integrity, mostly because most of our materials or structures depends on the foundations and mechanical strength of materials used. Thus leads to create stronger material in order to mitigate casualties. Again, cement is an adhesive. Cementation is a process of the rock cycle, and where the rocks harden and rub together thus the term cement was conceived. Ordinary Portland cement at 28 days of curing has a compressive strength of 33 megapascals. 33 megapascals may not sound a lot in context, may just be a number, but for context, an ordinary passenger car exerts a pressure of 200 kilopascals, average of 200 kilopascals, which may not that be that high, but when you have a large amount of vehicles, and also we also have other heavier vehicles such as 10-wheeler trucks and whatnot, thus the large margin. However, cement is only used as a binder nowadays, not for creating the bulk of infrastructures. The reason is it is composed of calcium and silica-rich substances being made from sedimentary rock and